Hey y'all. Hey.
Everybody can't put outside.
Hi, I'm Amiyah.
I'm Milah.
Manny.
I'm Shaylah.
And I'm Deja.
Greetings to Deep in Our Thoughts. Today we'll be taking you on a journey through the maze of brain where we talk about sports, physical activity, psychology. The main topics for this chapter were motivation, anxiety, arousal, self-talk, personality, and goals.
Continue to choose to participate or choose not to participate, or even looking up and dang, I really have to go do this, and it's like the outcome. It depends on what your outcome is. Like why I get up and go to class, because the outcome, that's what keeps me motivated. Psychological wise, I feel like it comes from within. You motivate you to do whatever you want to do, and it could also come from other people telling you positive things, but then you have those days where you don't have motivation, and that's totally normal, versus oh, every day is not gonna be oh, I'm gonna get up and do this, and then you just be like, I just said that and you didn't even get out of bed.
Me the other day, set my alarm. I was like, no, I'm not going to my first class. I'm going to set my alarm for my second class.
No, bro, that's
Didn't go to the second class.
I feel like tying this into sports, do athletes get up and go to practice every day in this type of weather, because right now in Texas, it's a little cold, and I know me, I would not get up and go.
We practice early in the morning,
Yeah,
sometimes 2 times a day,
it don't be it.
and then still have to go to class.
A lot of the athletes have a lot of internal and external motivations. Not wanting to disappoint your teammates, not wanting to disappoint coaches,
or even your family,
or not trying to lose a scholarship.
Losing scholarships. Maybe you feel like you have a skill set that can take you further than college.
Right.
So you're thinking about how that affects your family if you don't get up and do the things that you need to do, whether different types of motivations affect athletes. And even us too. People who aren't active athletes still have of internal and external motivations that keep us on path. You guys have any that keep y'all going when y'all don't feel like doing stuff?
To be honest,
Not going back home.
that part, because I refuse to go back home. No.
I mean, what keeps me going is I made a promise to myself, I was going to get a degree. In order for me to do that, I feel like I'm going to have to go to class. That's what ultimately keeps me going. And also, I feel like I didn't do all this work in high school for me to come to college and sit up here and do nothing. Mm-hmm. I feel like them 3 a.m. nights writing papers, searching for scholarships just to even to be able to pay to come here. Mm-hmm. I feel like that I don't want my hard work to go down the drain. That's why I keep going. As far as motivation in our society today, a lot of people do not have the drive to continue to go on, even when days like this is cold. Nobody wants to get out of bed, but it's you have to have that inner motivation to tell yourself you can keep going. And as far as sports, I feel like ultimately if your football players want to go, they know they have to buckle down, come to practice every day and give it their all in order to win games and actually apply yourself to get to a championship.
I think that has to do a lot with self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
And self-talk is the thought that occupies individuals, whether being positive or negative. It's the way you talk to your inner self. Positive self-talk can be good and can enhance in performances. And you talk to yourself and give yourself little notes, and it helps you play better. You go to practice and you just tell yourself I can do it, even when you want to give up. And it's just giving yourself small pep talks. It can be used to promote self-confidence, self-esteem, reduce stress, and just overall good for your health, whether mentally or physically. Mm-hmm. Because telling yourself to get up and go to practice is good mentally, and then you're physically working out your body, so that's also. And I don't think just athletes use self-talk. Most people could use it day to day, getting sticky notes and putting little sticky notes on your mirror, and you get up and get ready for the morning. You just read them, have a good day, do this, do that. Read them, have a good day, do this, do that. And self-talk isn't just little motivational quotes. It can also be a football player, say the quarterback telling himself to clap. or a volleyball player telling herself to like step to the side. It can be, many people don't use it, but it's very effective. Lots of people, they don't use positive self-talk. It's mostly negative.
Yeah.
But like when they feel that negative thought coming on, they should just stop it and just be like, instead of saying I suck, maybe like, let me try again. And it can be used for personal growth. It can help people with mental health issues.
Yeah.
Like telling yourself little quotes throughout the day. It can help them.
I know you say like, always stop the negative thoughts. But for some people that could be hard.
Not easy stopping the negative thoughts, honestly. And some people, they don't have coping mechanisms or people to like even encourage them to say, well, I was fortunate enough to have counselors, like I'm in their office, come on, we gotta get that work done. Some people don't have the good support system or the people at school that want to see them succeed, or even just inner self-confidence. Like a lot of people lack that and they don't know how to cope when negative thoughts come. They let that like overtake them.
A couple of y'all have said that, not a lot of people either know how to do it or have the ability to do it. What could be some reasons that could be? Like, what could be a reason that could stop someone from learning how to have positive self-talk, things like that?
Like the people
maybe an environment.
Yeah, the people they around.
I feel like society, like things like, especially in like minorities, like going to therapy, like
it's not really praised. People have problems with saying, oh, I need help, because
mental health is not talked about.
It's not talked about enough, or it's not recognized enough, or some people even look down on you to say like, oh, I have a problem. Oh, my mental is not good today. And I feel like everybody deserves to have that emotional time where you sit back and think like, dang, this is hard. Like, it's okay to let it out. And I feel like it shouldn't be an issue for anybody to cry or anybody to say, oh, I need help, or anybody to reach out and say, I need therapy.
That's why like a lot of people go into sports.
Yes.
Is to get away from
Some
all
escape.
that. Yeah, an escape.
Like, y'all know Krishan, Blueface girlfriend?
Yeah.
Like, she said that she would play sports to, like, get away from the abuse in her house. So that's why she's, like, really fit and, like, did that all throughout high school.
It's a gateway.
And most people don't even know that like small things like self-talk can like reduce stress or help you mentally. Like how can me saying like a little word to myself help me
I feel
go
like
throughout the day?
It's all
that's
about,
the one
like,
thing to keep you going.
that 1% of getting better. Like, little change creates big change over time.
The middle of a what I'd like to refer to like mental health awareness boom kind of like a lot of people are starting to open their eyes to a lot of the different things, like just the things that we've discussed. And a lot of it comes from sports.
Right.
So a lot of the motivational speakers, whether it be past players, current players, things like that, have kind of transitioned over into taking that mindset that they've had while they were playing and using that as a motivational tool to help people understand positive self-talk, affirmations, things like that, just to kind of push people in the right direction of making sure that everybody knows that it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to speak on certain things that you may not have grown up and you may not have grown up in an environment that was okay for you to speak on that kind of stuff.
Right.
Especially if you're from a black family. You were always told that you were crazy if you wanted to go and talk to a psychologist or something like that.
Pick up the Bible.
Right.
I think that can like cause a lot of anxiety too. Like it can build up a lot of like emotions, and especially negative emotions. Just like the high expectations of everything. Stay on top of school and making sure like doing what you need to do, especially like if you're in sports or whatever. Like just make sure you doing what you need to on the field or like on the court or whatever, and like still maintaining like your personal well-being.
Society has, like, if you're QB1, like for instance, I feel like society holds you here and sometimes it's hard to fulfill society's needs when you have issues going on within your personal life, and you feel like basically like the weight of the world is on your shoulder, but how do you still perform well and still deal with your personal issues?
Yeah.
And I feel like some people don't think, when holding these athletes to such a high standards, they don't think like, oh, they go through stuff too. And mind you, college is not easy.
Yeah. So it's like how do you keep all this arousal when it comes to like sports and all that, like, you know, keeping that excitement and like the pressure of, you know.
I mean, I look at sports as a way to like relieve stress, like watching the excitement of it, even though it keeps me on my toes sometimes, like when the game gets really close and make you shake a little bit, but I find joy in watching the two teams compete. It's not even just football and basketball or even soccer or even softball, baseball. I feel like it's like a way to calm your nerves, relax, watch a good game.
Almost like being focused on something, being focused on making sure that the athletes are taken care of, being focused on the game causes you to not be so focused on things that may or may not be in your control, that's causing your anxiety.
I think also like kind of remembering what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
Like
Why
maybe it is to, you know, as like a distraction for, you know, whatever's going on in your personal life, but like what else is it for?
And like the thought of failing your family can make you very anxious.
Yeah.
I know you said you were a trainer. Did any of you guys do athletic training in school?
I did for 4 years.
Okay.
Unfortunately, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What you gonna say?
Unfortunately, I got discouraged I did it in middle school, but I got discouraged in high school because, you know, there was always, you know, so many females want to get close to the boys and stuff like that. But me, I actually wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of was like, pushed me back. And I was like, I'm never going to try. And I regret it, like, so much. Because, like, that's actually something I really want to do. And I really let that discourage me from doing something I wanted to do. So.
How were you guys able to overcome an athlete's anxiety or any hang-ups that they may have had either during the game, before the game, like things that, because as an athletic trainer, you're not simply just an athletic trainer.
Yeah.
Like we go out there, we build relationships with these players, we help rehab, we help make sure that they get taped. You might do your tape the way that they like it, something different than what she does. You just do it right, and you end up building a rapport with that player. So that player may feel comfortable talking to you about things, especially if you know the game. Yeah. You know, so how were you guys able to help any athletes that may have had any issues like that, while also balancing your own anxiety that you have? Like, how did you?
So for me, I felt like each time I went into the training room and I was like, okay, I'm leaving it at the door because at the end of the day, this is my priority at the moment. And these boys have undergone wins and losses, and you don't know what you can say to brighten up their day. And so I always looked at the brighter part of the situation.
I think from when I first started training, I had a lot of anxiety because I was like, this is my first time helping upperclassmen while in the process of learning. But I think the more I did it, like my anxiety would go down, building a relationship with like individual players, and not just feeling like a trainer, but almost feeling like I was part of the team. Like not
you're the team behind the team, behind the team.
Yeah, like, and like them being able to, after building a relationship, that them being able to come and talk to you about things that they're going through, and helping them try to solve their problems and things like that.
How were you able to overcome that feeling of, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it, like that disappointed feeling when you felt like you had to separate yourself from that due to factors of other girls in the program doing things that didn't quite align with you? Like, how were you able to finally come back around and be like, you know what, this is something I want to do, and I'm going to make sure that I put myself in a position to achieve it? Because that's a big hurdle.
Yeah, I think I finally realized it like senior year, because it was right after COVID and stuff like that. Like, during that time you had a lot of time to think, and then you had a lot of time to like reflect. And then there was this one trainer at my school, and I was just like see stuff that she did and stuff like that, and I was just like, dang, like that could have been me right there, like. And I was like, dang, like now when I got to college, it was just like, I'm gonna make sure, like, I'm not taking no for an answer. Like, I'm gonna do what I need to do to make sure I am able to, get that.
Find those opportunities.
Yeah, get those opportunities and network. Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked that is because it essentially ties into everything that we've discussed so far, as far as motivation, self-talk, and overcoming that anxiety and that feeling that you had to overcome in order to get to the spot where you're at now. Like, that's just essentially a culmination of everything that we've gotten up to this point. So now we can go into personality, which is actually my favorite after reading over it and learning a little bit more about it. Researchers have long been interested in personality types in sports. A lot of the questions would be whether sports affects your personality or whether it's the other way around and your personality affects the sport. Personality has been defined in many different ways. For example, Veely describes personality as a unique blend of psychological characteristics and behavioral tendencies that makes individuals different and similar to each other. So it's a lot of different things that athletes do that I've noticed as my time as an athlete, as my time watching sports, just watching guys that even though they're similar in the fact that they love the sport that they're in, they're different because there's levels to everything that you do. That's why I asked earlier if you saw a difference in the attitude and the personality of elite athletes and guys who were just on the team or maybe may not get as much playing time as others.
I mean, there is a big difference because some people just sit on the bench and you're watching. You're not out on the field. You're not getting tackled. You're not going against somebody. You don't feel the adrenaline, I'm guessing. So I feel like when the team wins, everybody plays as a team, but at the same time, you're a part of the team, but you're not on the field. Those 11 people, they feel the adrenaline. They're getting hit. They're going play after play after play. And some of these people, they play both sides of the ball. And I know some of them, the only time they get a break is when coach calls timeout. So I feel like it hits different, and their mindset is very different from the people, I don't want to call them bench warmers, but the people who don't receive as much playing time.
I feel like the people who don't play that much, they're more goofy and more playful, and people that are actually playing, they're more serious because they're taking the sport more serious and they're actually trying to do it instead of just saying that I play football, like I want to get
those
out.
are the people that you see like actually
Leadership.
putting in work, like on
Getting
and off
offers
the.
and stuff.
So it's essentially a more of a goal oriented.
Yeah, I feel like their common goal is to make it. They I guess essentially you start off. Some people don't even start off on PB. Some people start off in middle school or even high school. But your ultimate goal is not to stop there. You want to eventually make it out of here, and you have more goals than the people. Oh, after high school, this is my last time putting. That's it for them. Other people, they see past just high school. They want to be collegiate level or even professional level. And I feel like their mindset is always going to be different because they're the first ones in the locker room. They're the first ones in the classroom. They're paying attention. They're active in their school. They take leadership versus the people class clown.
I feel like, I don't even know if this is the right term, but like, I don't even think it's a goal. I think it's more like a mindset.
Yeah.
Like, because a goal is just like something you want to achieve. But like, for most people, I just feel like it's just all they have, so they just like, you gotta
give it their all. They play with heart. And a lot of times you see people on that field, but they don't play with heart, and you can tell because it doesn't affect them as it affects the other ones. Like taking a hard loss, you lose by 1 point. Some of these dudes is balling out crying, it hurt, versus the people, oh, it's just a loss or something. It meant something to them.
Yeah, I was a baseball manager my high school senior year, and like I would see like the differences between like people who took the game serious and the people who was just like
Put on a uniform
there just to be there. Like the people who took it serious was like the first ones there, the ones staying after practice to like talk to the coach or like get extra practice in with some teammates or like doing more.
We'll actually revisit that here in a second, but I have a couple of questions that I want to ask because I'm pretty sure that we'll get some really good answers out of these. Everybody here has a job, correct?
I do.
You do?
Not here,
right
but
now.
yes.
Okay, so we've all worked in an environment with other people, whether older, younger than us. Okay, so a lot of what you described as far as being goal-oriented, taking leadership roles, taking the game seriously, things like that, what separates the guys with less playing time from the guys who would be labeled your elite guys. Do you think that the athletic personality differs from non-athletes, or do you think that there's some crossover in there somewhere?
I feel like there's some similarities, but there's a lot of differences from a sports aspect versus a non-sports aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people who play sports, they are very like to themselves. They focus on themselves more versus people who didn't play sports. They're more out there.
I know what you mean.
When I first started learning how to drive, like I took a driver's ed, and like somebody get in a car with you and like grade how you do it, whatever. Like she could tell, like she had asked, was I an athlete? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, I could tell because like you're focused, like you pay attention to what you're doing, and like that just stood out to her.
Kind of different also.
Yeah.
Having trained different sports and things like that, can athletes in certain sports be distinguished from athletes in other sports on the basis of their personality?
Yes.
I feel like, football players are like more aggressive
Yes.
as compared to like a ballet dancer who's like, I don't want to say like petite, but like
they're not petite. They're just like more laid back and chill.
Like ballet, I was just like the first thing that came to mind was like not really bougie, but like
like careful, like I don't know, like I just think of like ballet dancers, like you gotta be careful with them or something.
Be careful.
Yeah, like fragile. That's what.
Yeah.
I think like to me, football players were more crazier.
Yeah.
And like always like doing stuff and crazy around. Versus
like stay with
basketball players. To me, all basketball players, they're like super calm.
Yeah, they chill.
Super chill.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's surprising.
They're like super calm, super chill. And football players are just goofy.
Yeah, they can be both.
Like I feel like
they have different sides to them.
Yeah, I feel like football and basketball
It depends on the setting, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on the setting that people are in and how the environment affects them and how they feel that day, to be honest. Because you could get aggressive from all sports. Even a basketball game or a volleyball game or even a baseball game could get real aggressive at times, but you're not going to get that all the time. Football, I just feel like they always just ready to knock somebody's head off. That's how it was feeling.
You guys mentioned ballet. And the first thing that you thought when they mentioned ballet was bougie, fragile, things like that, right? We all have, like when we think of certain sports, we automatically put a label onto it. Do you think that individuals participate in certain sports because of their personality? Like, do you think, well, that person is, maybe they feel like they're an aggressive person, so that guy would probably be better suited to be a football player?
I feel like, growing up, I don't think I was an aggressive kid, but like, I just had a lot of energy.
I feel like you got a little bit of aggression.
I do. And I wanted to play softball, but my father told me I couldn't play softball because he didn't trust me with a bat in my hand because, for the simple fact, I had a quick temper, and he said any little thing, he don't know if I was gonna throw a bat at somebody. So, and also I feel like some people, I feel like some people do sports because their parents force them into it. Like me, I don't know why you put me in a soccer uniform knowing I don't like to run as a kid. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm doing this because mama paid for it and she said do it.
Yeah, versus, that's kind of how I was with like basketball, because my mom was like, you should go play basketball. You have long legs. Like
me, I feel like if you want to do it, you really do it. Don't put that on your kids.
You're tall. Like,
I think a lot of athletes make the sport their personality.
Yeah.
Like once they see like, oh, my big brother played basketball. Now I gotta play basketball. Now all they are is basketball this, basketball that.
I think that's how it was. Like my sister, she had did cheerleading. And I was like, when I was young, I was like, oh, I want to do cheerleading because Serena's doing cheerleading. And then when I actually did, I was like, oh yeah, this is not.
You gotta. I feel like you gotta test it out for you. Like, I feel like I had too much aggression to do certain sports, and it was just like I like more of a helping people and seeing people go from 0 to 100. So athletic training fit me the best. But my whole family plays sports. But I feel like you can't live out your dream through your kids. So if you want to go play sports, you and your grown self can get out on the field and go play sports. Don't try to put that on your child. So
last question. So are there certain personality traits that can predict an athlete's success in a sport?
No.
Like,
seriousness.
Okay. Maybe, yeah. Like being humble.
In my opinion, I feel like characteristics don't really, they define the person, but they don't define the person's like physical ability.
Okay. So do you think humble athletes win championships?
No.
Well, I don't think it's just like based on that, but like
I was just curious. That's why I just put it out.
To be honest, no, because you could be the most humblest person and still get on the football field and don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You put on a uniform knowing your physical abilities is not there. I feel like that embarrasses yourself. You can have all these character traits and still not be able to perform the task you need to perform in order to win a game.
Okay.
Our star football player, he was not humble at all.
Yeah.
He was very cocky.
Did he lose?
No, he made it.
I feel like
D1 had lots and lots and lots of offers, but he was not humble at all. He was very cocky.
I feel like that's how it is for like when a player knows they got skills.
Yeah.
When they, right? When they.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like if you walk with that, oh, I got it. I mean, confidence is key. To be honest, I might walk like I got it, but in actuality, I might be like face smiling my way through. Yeah. Versus like you on the football field, you walking the talk, you better be able to perform the task you know you rapping about. Mm-hmm. Don't portray these characteristics like, oh, Berkey bag type, and then you get on the field and perform trash. You know, it doesn't. Yeah. The math ain't mathed, to be honest.
I can't really speak on it because like I don't know too much about football, but I feel like, for example, if you play football and like let's say you like a D1 quarterback, whatever. Yeah. Like I just feel like for most people they may feel like they need to have that like cocky, and you know.
To me, the cockiest ones make it out.
Or that like protects them, like them being cocky and having like confidence protects them from like other people. Yeah, covers the hurt from like what other people tell them because they're oh, I don't care what you're saying because blah blah blah.
So it's almost like they use it as a shield.
Yeah,
ego.
Like a mask.
Yeah, a mask.
The reason why I brought that up to close it out is because I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I'm older than everybody in this room, and that dude found a way to trick himself into. It's the self-motivation, it's all the stuff that we talked about. But he took things personally that a normal person wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And that allowed him to excel. He went further than anybody else was willing to go. Like, that's a personality trait that you can't learn. It has to be in you.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of humble champions. We have a lot of guys that'll go. Steph Curry, I feel like, is a humble champion after the fact, but during the game, you don't see that. You see, like, he's really into it. He can be really cocky at times, and he's earned the right to do that.
Yeah.
But that personality, it's so when I hear stuff like that, I always like to ask people because I like to see everybody's point of view on star players and how their personality affects their ability to win.
So I know like a lot of athletes have like goals or like dreams to like high school, like to play in college or like go beyond that or whatever. But like I feel like people use goals and dreams like interchangeably, but in order to reach your dreams you have to have goals to, you know, get there. So like goals have to be SMART, and then that's like a acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Like goals have to be like specific, because like you can't say like something vague, like what team do you want to be a part of,
How long it's gonna take you to get there? What are you gonna do?
What position?
Yeah, what position? How are you gonna get there? Who are you gonna like reach out to?
Are you gonna practice?
Who you gonna send your film to?
Right.
Are you open to playing other positions? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys that get in, and especially if you're an undersized quarterback, they gonna move you to tight end or wide receiver or something crazy like that.
Especially if you expecting to go to a D1 school and you go to like a
JUCO.
D2.
Yeah. Say all these things that you want, but it's all about your actions to
Are you
get
gonna
there.
apply
You gotta like sit down with yourself and be like, is this realistic? Like, come on.
Girl, are you actually gonna do this? Are you actually gonna go to practice? Are you gonna eat right? Are you gonna exercise? Are you gonna talk to your coaches?
That was my goal for the summer. After working, I was like,
Baby, I took that shower, got to that bed. What do you mean?
Yeah, like, are you gonna force yourself to get out of that bed to go to practice?
And baby, the motivation gotta be there. You gotta talk yourself up.
like if you want to reach your goal of becoming an actual athletic trainer, are you gonna go to class?
and you gotta prepare yourself to also undergo obstacles to get there also.
They expect to
And you're gonna
graduate and then just boom. you're
Bumps in the
athletic
road.
trainer.
Like, are you gonna give up after the first obstacle?
Yeah.
Obstacle is normal. Like, you're bound to go through something. It's nothing in life is just gonna come like this way. You're supposed to go through a little heartache in order for you to get to where you need to be, because it teaches you lessons in order for when you get to your career, you'll be able to help somebody else able to handle the situation that you already went to.
Like trials and tribulations.
Yeah. Amen.
And there's like 3 different types of goals, like outcome goals, performance goals, and process goals. Outcome goals is like interpersonal comparisons, so like it's you against your opponents. Like performance goals are like your personal achievements or like your progress, and process goals focuses on the how. Like I feel like all the topics that we covered, like they all tie into each other. Like motivation is a big one, so that ties into like self-talk. Self-talk ties into anxiety, and like all of that creates like who you are as a person. So like personality, and then your personality like affects your goals. Like what type of person you are affects like how motivated or like set you are to reach your goal, or like put the work in to get to here when you're here.
Okay, so y'all, that concludes our podcast for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and come back next week for more.